You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Shoshana. How having the best relationship of your life begins with you. Ladies, welcome to Life Check Yourself. I'm super excited for you today because you're going to meet Shoshana, who I met in January 2019, and we reconnected, and I had the best day ever because she told me that after doing this work, she is in a relationship with an amazing man. So I said, please come inspire everyone with your story. So thanks for coming.
You're so welcome. I credit everything that's happening in my relationship field to doing the 5 Keys program.
Oh, yay. That makes me so happy. Okay. So take us back to 2019. I mean, that was a different time altogether. But for you, what was going on and how did you end up booking a call with us, getting into the program? What was going on in your life?
Very, very little in the relationship space in terms of anything deep. So I see myself then as a butterfly flitting around, saying I wanted a relationship, but not really doing the things in my life that would lead towards that. And I would say I wasn't 100% aware of all the day-to-day actions I was doing that weren't supporting my desire or dream of a relationship. And I think the phrase, the common denominator in all your relationships is you, was spinning around in my head. And the only thing I had control over, I felt, was my ability to learn something new, to change, to ask for help, to grow. And I really, without this program, I wasn't, you know how you don't know what you don't know?
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't know a lot about how I was showing up in the world when it came to intimate relationships and to dating and just even my view of partnership.
So let me ask you this. So what did you think? Because I talk to ladies a lot and I hear so many different things I think my problem is it's just, that there's no great men on whatever website I'm using, or I am very feminine, or I don't think I'm intimidating, or if I am intimidating, that's okay because, that's just who I am. What was the world according to Shoshana? What didn't you know?
Oh, well, I was in my mid 40s when I did the program. And so, I thought, well, it's where I live in Los Angeles. There's just, no relationship oriented men. I was putting it outside of myself a lot. My picker is broken but when I look at it now, I actually see, I was saying I wanted a relationship, but then I was doing all of these things to avoid actually getting deep and intimate with, number one, myself, and then anyone else out in the world.
What were you doing? What were the kind of really effective avoidance tactics you were doing with yourself?
One of them was not taking dating seriously. I was only, dabbling on the free sites, meeting up with people for whatever that instantaneous moment of connection was, maybe do something fun, maybe invite something into my world and my journey and have them, be with me. I was also definitely getting intimate way too quickly with people that I didn't know. I wasn't expressing any of my needs. I wasn't even clear on who I wanted to attract. So I was just kind of anyone who liked me. I was okay, let's see.
That's so interesting.
So
Wait,
it was real loosey goosey.
Wait, and wasn't there some like guy that you'd met at some like event or fundraiser something? There was some guy that you were like having some crush on, or was that you?
Yeah,
Right when you came in, there was like a guy that you were kind of fixated on.
Fixated is a great word. Maybe even obsessed the more he withdrew. And I guess because I saw on paper, okay, this is a man in his 50s. He's divorced. He has children. He's been married before. He says I'm his queen and he wants a relationship. And then after about 4 months, he ghosted. And I like, I'd been ghosted before, but on a smaller scale. And so I was like, and then I finally called him to the carpet to talk. And he said, yeah, I thought I was ready for a relationship, but I'm not. And I thought, how could I be with someone for 4 months and not really know where they're at? There's something I'm not communicating. And there's also something I'm not asking others to communicate for clarity. I remember my initial call with you. I said, everything's messy. My romantic life is just not clear. It's not flowing. It's not, every relationship I was getting into, a situationship,
right?
They were complicated, overly complicated. I was always wondering, am I going to hear from this person? When are we going to get together? And now, having done the program and where I'm at now, I look back and go, oh, wow, you were right. With the person that you're building an authentic connection with, you don't worry about when they're going to call or when you're going to see them next. That's all baked in the cake.
Wow. That's so amazing. I just love this story because there's so many people that I talk to that they don't realize that it's so addressable, right? Like it's messy, but it's not so messy that you can't clean it up in a short amount of time. And here we are like 3 years later, and you've been in that relationship for 3 years. And there's just so many people who are listening who are continuing to try and like put Band-Aids over it or try other ways to solve the problem when like 3 years of your life have occurred right since then, and you've been in this relationship. So I just think it's amazing, like how you do one thing and it changes the trajectory of your life. So when you were in this 10-week process, what are some of the things that shifted for you? Like, how did you change?
First of all, the big shift came right at the beginning, asking for help, letting go of any shame I had around doing a relationship program, because I looked at all my friendships and I'm like, I'm a good relationship person. I would make a great girlfriend and a great wife. So why do I need help? I'm a smart, intelligent woman. But just asking for help and humbling myself in that way to learn actually how I am showing up in the world. And I felt the program, I didn't know when I chose it, was so holistic for me. It healed things in my relationships with my family. And I realized that I really needed to be in a grounded, secure place myself before I even went out into the world to seek a partner, because I was attracting partners from, like you say, the pain body.
Right.
And all of these other things were drawing people, magnetizing more pain into my life, more complication. And so I got to a point in the program where I was waking up in the morning and I would literally hug myself and be like, I love you so much. I love you so much. You are so beautiful. I was just pouring it all into me. And what that did was help me find my voice in how to speak to men and say what I need. I had a very big problem with just going with the flow and being the good girl and doing everything I could to win the man's affection and attention and attraction. And so stepping away from all of that, actually taking a look at the areas in my life where I wasn't giving to myself. And I remember coming into the program with some resistance.
Right.
And my resistance was completely 100% around online dating. And I just had this feeling it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And everyone in the program was saying, just do the exercises, gear it up towards online dating. You don't know what's going to happen. And so I actually did. I took the pictures, I wrote the beautiful profile, and then I met someone in real life. But I did all that work to go online and to get clear.
I think that's a really important piece because it's funny. I met my husband the same way. Like I was doing the online thing, but I ended up meeting him in real life. It's the work that you do to prepare, because what we say is we launch you online and offline. You don't realize that you're launching yourself offline in the work that you're doing to go online, right? Getting your deal breakers stitched up, writing that profile even is the way we do it is almost like creating a vision, right? Like creating the energetic vibration of what that's going to be like when that person is in your life. How did that prepare you for meeting your boyfriend, your partner?
I will be 100% honest. I was not a values-based dater.
Right.
I was not. I was attracted to other things besides someone's values, and getting clear on my values. It's funny you say launching. I didn't know that I was launching myself.
Right.
Right. Because I was really focused on the values and meditating on the vision and calling the person into my life with the 5 fights we're never going to have.
Right. Right.
And so the preparation for me, it was so it's worked its way into all of my relationships, into my work life. And now when people ask me, I also have a really, really clear intention of sharing them actually how it happened. It did not happen by anything other than this program. And I say that. And it's a little awkward sometimes because, how did you, well, I did this dating program and I got really super clear. And I, what? Oh, you got help to get where you are now? Yes, I did. And I'm screaming it from the mountaintops because I think more intelligent, smart women need to know that, yeah, it's okay to need help in this area.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. So before we talk about how you met your man, I think this was a really important piece for you because we always say, like, we want to work with clients who are super coachable, meaning they're not stuck in the the yeah buts, right? Like you were coachable. You were like, I don't know about this online thing, but I'm just going to trust the process. We want people who are super committed. Like, they realize there is no shame in asking for help and having a relationship is something that they are willing to claim. And then we always talk about being resourceful because a lot of people are like, I need a new roof, or I don't want to put it on a credit card, or that, I'd rather go to France, whatever it is. And for you, I know that being resourceful was like it was part of that commitment. Like, how did you wrap your head around that? Because it was a big deal for you.
I think I really ordered the importance of a relationship in my life to the place of like, I'm willing to invest time and money in me. And I think there's so much intrinsic value in the program that you're offering that it's not even even if I hadn't found a relationship by now, I got so much out of the program. And this piece blew my mind. I thought, I'd done this work around, healing the relationship with my father because I'm attracting men. So I'm a woman. So it's really the relationship with my father that needs to be healed. And through your program, I actually healed the relationship with my mother. And that was a piece for me that I needed to really sit with my mother and talk about things and then go out in the world feeling safer.
That's so amazing because when I was doing my own journey, I was like, I wanted it to be so much about my mom because I knew I had issues with my mom. And I was like, oh, my dad's amazing. We have the best relationship. He's my person. And then in doing this work myself, I was like, oh shit. Right. Like, and that's that 10%, right? Because you know what you know. And most people who come to us, like I'm their last stop because they've gone to therapy. They've called in the one, they've done everything that they think they can do. And it's really that last little piece that makes the big difference. And so tell us, like everyone wants to know. So how did you meet your guy, and how did your deal breakers, your non-negotiables come into play? How did you use them?
Oh, wonderful. Well, it happened on a day, it was 4th of July, 2019. So literally 6 months from when I started the program. And I was with my family on the beach, and I noticed a beach party next door that looked kind of fun. And I went over there just to, say hi. And that party turned out to be a party thrown by a place that I work out of, where I teach in Santa Monica. So I was like, wait, there's a guy I write my rent checks to. We just happened to be next door to each other. So in this party, it was for West Side Comedy Theater, which is an improv group. And, one of my values is play and growth and learning. And I meet someone that I hadn't met from the theater before. And he had done all the classes, wasn't a performer, and done all the classes in improv. And he and I just hit it off on the beach right then. My family went home to put the kids down for a nap, and I stayed, and he and I connected. And it was like a full on first date at the beach.
I love it. That's so amazing.
Yeah,
wait, so was he, I'm curious about this. Was he around like your field and you just had never seen him or noticed him? Or it's just that you had been there, but at different times in that community?
We had been there at different times, but talk about being in the field. We both had lived in New York, and we the conversation comes up. Oh, were you there during 9/11? Yes. Where were you? I was working at 9 West 57th Street. What? I was working at 9 West 57th Street. We were 2 floors apart from each other at 9/11.
Wow.
In New York City, working in investment banking. That's
so amazing. I mean, that's crazy. And what's interesting is this, because I say this all the time in different ways on this show, is that when you're in that messy part, right? Your frequency is you're attracting those men, and you're interested in those men that aren't the right person for you. And that's what I always want to say is like, your person could literally be 2 floors away. Your person could be going to the same gym that you've been going to for 5 years, but because your energetic frequency is tuned into the wrong thing, you're not seeing that person. So it's like suddenly you get that like all dialed in, and there he is. He's like right in front of you.
Right in front of me when I'm with my family, which if like family time, you're much more casual.
Right.
You're not dressed up. You're just chilling. You're eating all the snacks.
Right.
But changing the vibration for me. So one thing I learned in the program that I did not know I needed was a feeling of safety.
Yep.
And so I was attracting unsafe men and unsafe situations because I didn't know I really needed safety, and I didn't know how to create safety for myself in the dating world. I didn't know what made me feel safe.
What did you learn? What made you feel safe?
It made me feel safe to communicate that I need to feel safe.
Yeah, right. I love that. Asking for what you need.
Asking for what I need. And oh my goodness, this whole situation, what was being built in this relationship for me was like needs based, to the point where like I know that if I sleep with you too soon, I will become really insecure. And having the courage to say that to someone, having the courage to date at the pace that I feel safe at, and tell the person why I'm not wanting to sleep with them, because I'm going to get super neurotic and I'm going to have weird attachment unless I really know you for a long time and feel safe.
So amazing.
And to be totally candid, I was sleeping with people on the first date because I was so love starved. And I'd have a date every 6 months, and I'm like, I'm attracted to you enough to be intimate with you. Let's do it. Which is not the relationship space that I really wanted to be in.
So you were able to ask for what you need and set a loving boundary in a way that he was the right person. So he was like, of course. Of course
Not
I can do
only that, he was like, if I sleep with you too soon. I allowed for the space for us both to be honest with about it.
That's amazing.
And using the phrase, the wing wang and the ding dang,
right?
the ding dang and the wing wang, like really helped lighten it. And because he has values, play and growth and all of that, those conversations that we had, they were not dry and intense and like a talk. They were like, hey, from complete relaxation and playfulness, I just got to let you know, I'm going to flip out if we have sex too soon.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to, right? But like, I know myself, right? And so, and that's so well received.
And I found that everything that I said was well received. And it makes me wonder the big number I was doing on myself before I would speak and try to communicate my needs in the past. Like I was shutting myself down from communicating with men without even trying to express my truth.
Because you thought the story you made up was what? If I do that, then what did you think was going to happen?
They'll leave. They won't like me. They'll think I'm difficult. They won't think I'm the fun, easy relationship.
That's amazing. And so once you were able to do that, it was like, it's also sort of a way of like, without it being like masculine and aloof of like getting a guy to quote unquote jump through hoops. It's more like, hey, this is where I'm at. And if you're there too, then we both are on the same page. And if we're not, then that's okay because you're not my person. So it allowed for you to also really see who he was by setting that boundary.
Yeah. And I think I can mind map it with finding out who I am at my core, what my values are and what I want. And then learning how to communicate that without fear to the opposite sex. And then having it be so well received and actually more of a place for us to express our fears and eliminate them from our field.
That's amazing. So how did the relationship progress and where? Well, let's go back to the other question. Like, how did the relationship progress and how did having non-negotiables help you be discerning without being picky?
Well, it made me, again, really much more curious about who this person is and how they show up in the world without that big question, do they want me? Do they want to be in a relationship? It wasn't about trying to win someone's affection and get them to be in a relationship with me. It was like, I could be curious and go, oh, okay, you say you have this value. How does it show up for you in the world?
That's amazing.
And I found him expressing to me things about my values that he resonated with.
So you were like having right. And you're having like this high quality conversation, right? Like you're both discovering things that really matter versus like, you're hot, like, right. Yeah. Like you're really having the conversations that matter.
That matter because if you can say, like, I feel like I was operating in the level of attraction and I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me, let's go. And so for us to acknowledge there's heavy attraction here. And I like the way you're showing up in the initial dating process. What else? Because I would literally drive away from our dates going, wow, that was wonderful. And he doesn't have to be my person if he's not my person. But if he is, awesome. Like there wasn't that same attachment to making it work with everybody. You don't have to make it work with everybody.
Right. Well, right. And because you'd been in the process, whether again, you never made it to like really getting online, but there's just this knowledge when you're in the process and you're talking with other women that are having that success and you're like, oh, so I get it. Like this isn't the last guy. Like this isn't the one and only guy I have to make this work with. So it's a complete shift in your energy on like so many levels.
Right. And one thing I noticed is I can tell in my nervous system. Like I could see the difference, feel the difference in dating from this much more balanced place for me, because I wouldn't go through the highs and lows.
Right.
There haven't been those highs and lows that I was like, really attracted to, and really attracted to the drama of that. And I knew if things were getting tricky, at least something was happening. And I could literally exhale and relax into the whole process, even when we are apart. I didn't flip out when we were apart. Now, part of that is this man that came in was showing up in the ways I needed him to. He would call me on Monday. We would mostly see each other on the weekends because of work. And he would call me on Monday to make a date for the following weekend.
It's amazing.
Because I know we talk about what happens on Thursday. Are you supposed to fill your weekend schedule, or are you supposed to wait for him? And I was definitely a wait for him type of person before this. And I didn't even need to do that because on our second date, he made a plan for 2 weeks from will you come to this party 2 weeks from now? And that gave me such a feeling of security and in that we were going to actually date for a little while.
I love that so much, right? Like with the right guy, it's like it is easy, right? Because they're into you. And I always say this, right? The name of the course is the 5 Keys to Becoming Irresistible. And it really is what happens, because that for you, that right guy is like, wait, I want to make sure she's free. Like, I want to make sure she doesn't get away. Like, I want this to be my person. I want to get to know her more. Again, a complete shift in like how most people think about dating, where the guys have all the control, so to speak.
Yeah, I really felt like through the program, I got rid of some of those just weird little thoughts that come in that we've all either read in a book, or you got to let him leave. You got to do this. You got all the must do's, the shoulds, and the fact that I came into your program and it was like, these are tools, not rules.
Yep.
And there were so many intelligent and heart-centered women involved in this process with you, that just learning from my peers, learning from you, and it really it's continued to work on me.
I love that.
And I know when I am with my girlfriends and when I do get really honest with them about what it took, that I can help people through my own experience turn their messy, wild, crazy, romantic life, which isn't maybe what they want, into what they want.
Stability. Okay. So tell everybody, like, what's your life look like now? It's like 3.5-ish years later.
It's glorious. We communicate. So I'm living with my boyfriend, who happens to be French, been in America 20 years. So this wonderful man comes along who also happens to have family in Paris, and his parents have a house in Provence. And so now yearly we go to Paris and Provence and places that I've like dreamed about, that even if he didn't have those, that's like icing on the cake.
Right.
Because our day to day, and we both work from home right now because of the pandemic.
Right.
We've been together longer than most married people.
Right.
More time. But we talk. I can bring up things and I bring them up gently in the moment, and there is no resentment or anything that is blocking us from growing together. And we do plan to get married.
Yay.
And this is the courage that I have around that. So, he wrote it in a card. I want to marry you. He said, I want to marry you. And we were on a hike this January. And I said, I want to marry you too. And I really want a proposal.
I love that.
And he said, great. And then I, did a little number on myself, like, oh my God, am I putting so much, on this? Am I so demanding? And then, in a conversation with my brother, he said, well, he knows you're going to say yes. So I don't think it's a lot of pressure.
Right. Exactly.
But being able to ask for what I want, because I feel like I'm getting so much. So how, when you're already in something so good where you're getting so much, how do you continue to say what you need?
And that is exactly when you said this, the ripple effect of doing this work is long lasting. And I always say, like, what you're doing is you're setting the foundation to be able to have an intimate relationship that's sustainable over time, right? Because 3 years in, it could be really easy to be like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat now, right? But you're like, nope, this is what I want. And you have that sense of commitment and trust and communication baked in because you built that foundation to ask for what you want.
Yes, I got the tools.
You got the tools, baby. Well, I am so happy for you. And I love that you are shouting your story from the rooftops and that you agreed to pay it forward and be on this show. It's so fun because, you know, people graduate and they go off into the sunshine. And sometimes I find out about it, you know, on a Facebook post, or sometimes in your case, you referred somebody and she's like, oh my gosh, she's been with this person for so long. And so I love it that I found out this amazing news, and even more so that you are sharing your inspiration with others. So thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
I love you, and I love this program, and I love that we can give this to ourselves as women, because again, even if I hadn't met anyone through the program, the fact that I was pouring all of that love onto myself and operating in high levels of energy, like everything is just gravy after that. I felt good about me.
Yay! I love that. I love that. Well, Shoshana, thank you for being here. We are so happy for you. And ladies, if any of what Shoshana said resonates for you, get in touch with us at VIPdatingwithdignity.com. But also just damn life check yourself. We can help you. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.